I think it's a way to get what we do out there. I think there's a lot of people that don't quite understand what it is that we do on a day-to-day basis. They see us, on the sidelines taking care of guys. I'll have people ask me like, so what does that really mean? I go, when you're watching a ball game and somebody runs out and takes care of the guy that's injured, that's what I do. And so that's just a way to make them understand kind of what it is that we do. I think a lot of the things they think that we just tape an ankle and hold water bottles and stuff like that. But getting them to understand that the medical component of what we do is huge.
You're noticed when you have to go out and help a guy off the court, but the more important parts, the things behind the scenes that they don't realize, the injury prevention as well as the rehab as well, to make sure that they get back out there.
Yeah, I don't like guys sitting on the sidelines. I don't like them in street clothes next to me. And I say a lot of times that I don't like doing work. I like when they're not injured and they're out performing the way they need to. But I love what I do when I have to do what I need to do. When they're hurt, they get my best because I want them out there, not sitting next to me.
So much more than that. It's developed into mental health now, making sure you're taking care of them mentally to get them prepared in the right state of mind. How much has that changed what you do on a day-to-day basis?
I think some of it is they don't quite understand what's going on. So there's an educational component of explaining, where they're at in their injury, that they're gonna get out there and they're gonna be okay. I think there's a little bit of worrisomeness that they're not, they're hurt, they're not performing at their best, but they're still doing what they need to do and are able to perform. The other mental component of is there's a lot of anxiety that goes along with performing. And if you're hurt and you're not doing the level that you think you're supposed to be doing, then you get concerned about it. So the encouragement of that and getting them over the anxiety that goes into it of, not being 100% all the time. It's just not going to happen. But doing what they can to the best of their ability at the state that they're in.
Each of us have a different why on why we got into our job. What was it that said sports medicine was the route that Kyle wanted to go?
There's a couple reasons. I was like every kid growing up that they wanted to be a professional athlete or they wanted to be a doctor. I was never going to be good enough in either one of them. So I kind of split the difference in my mind. Taking care of athletes on a medical basis is just kind of what I fell into. And then the other part is when I was growing up, my dad was the trainer at our local high school. He wasn't like me. He wasn't educated, and he was the PE teacher that knew how to tape an ankle and found the ice machine and all that, had some basic first aid skills. But to me, that was cool. He was staying on the sidelines on Friday night football games. And I grew up around in that environment. And so I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. I could do this.
You got the unique perspective that you were an undergrad here. How did Eastern help prepare you for the real world?
Back when I was an undergrad here, we were really thrown into doing everything clinically, hands-on, being really involved with the teams. I floated through a bunch of teams my first couple years, and then my last 2 years of schooling got to settle in with teams for a whole season, got to take care of injuries from start to finish rather than just getting a 2-week little glimpse of stuff. Big major injuries, I saw it from start to finish. And once you get out in the real world, you can't just leave after 2 weeks. You have to see your athletes get back on the floor. So, from the start, I was doing things hands-on.
You got thrown into the mix right at the start of basketball season. It's like, here, you're starting to figure it out as you go along. How's the adjustment been to come back home?
It's been a whirlwind. The first couple weeks was, like you said, getting started with the season. I started on a Monday and we had the scrimmage on a Thursday. Trying to figure out what was all in the kit and what all I needed to take. It's not a new world to me, but it's just something, I've been away from the college game for a couple years, but just trying to find my way and then getting onboarded all the policies that we had as a staff, all the new COVID regulations that I hadn't had to deal with. The first couple weeks was just trying to keep my head on straight. But once we've settled into a routine and once the turn of the calendar year and we've gotten into conference playing, things have been a little bit more normal, settled in, and waiting for my family to get up here.
Oh, they're still not up there?
They're still out in Tennessee.
Oh, that has to make life a little
It's been rough. I haven't seen them since January 2nd or 3rd, something along those lines.
So you're looking forward to this little break now.
Yeah. I don't want the season to end, but I do want to go see my family.
One of the big things with the family, even though they're Jerusalem here, a lot of everybody else on staff has talked about the familiar atmosphere and that this group has. Everybody picks each other up. How unique is working in the collective group of sports medicine is?
Well, we've got a lot of staff members, we've got a lot of teams, a lot of athletes, and we've got a lot of things that go on, a lot of events, and everybody's got to pick up for somebody somewhere along the lines. I've covered a couple women's basketball practices. A couple people have covered for me when I've had to go do something, or covered men's golf guys that come in when I'm on the road. It's one of those things that, we have our each individual sports and the people that we're responsible for, but that's mainly just to keep our numbers, our patient ratios, where things can be managed and athletes can get taken care of in an appropriate way. It's not so much that these are my guys and my guys only, and those are theirs and theirs only. It's everybody has to take up for the collective underneath Eastern Athletics.